So a couple of you guys asked for a pattern for this AirPod case, and I don't really know how to do that, but I'm going to do my best to give you guys a tutorial on it. You're going to need 2 pieces of fabric, one outer, one inner. The pattern that I'm using is about 7 inches all the way to the top and then 4 inches wide. The way I made it was just using the AirPods that I have, and I made sure to add seam allowance on the sides, and I rolled it up to see how long it would need to be with a little flap on the top. It did take me like 3 times to get it right, but this one finally is working. Anyway, for the strap, I'm just using the same as my inner fabric, and I just use the excess, but it's about 1 inch wide by 2 inches long. It can be a lot shorter than that. I just like to have extra fabric so when I'm sewing it, I know for a fact it will be inside of it. Then I just started quilting it. I did like 1 inch away spacing from each thing, and make sure to pin it on the fleece because it will move if you don't. Anyway, now you just sew along all the lines. This is also an optional step. You do not have to quilt it. I just love the way it looks. After that, make sure to trim off all the excess fleece, and the ink that I'm using goes away with heat, so I'm just ironing that off right now. Next step is the strap. I fold mine in half and then I sew along the edge and I just flip it right side out with a loop turner, but you can do it any way that you like. Now what we're going to do is put the pieces right sides together, clip them together, and then about 4.5 inches up, you're going to insert your loop, fold it in half with the folded side into the fabric, just like this. And now what you're going to do is sew along all the edges and make sure to leave an open spot at the bottom in the middle. When you're sewing at the bottom middle, make sure to go back and forth a couple times so it's sturdy, so when you flip it right side out, it doesn't break. Now you're going to want to cut off the excess loop and cut the corners, and then also make little slits on the top. Make sure not to cut the stitch. Now you turn it right side out using that bottom middle piece that you left. I use a chopstick to push out my corners and the top just to make it look good and actually get it all out. At this point, you want to look at the bottom middle hole and make sure it's lined up straight, and then iron that down. Now you're going to sew along the edges again on the outside of the fabric. We're getting to the point where we're almost at the end. Now we have to actually shape it into a case. So I folded it up a little bit over 2.5 inches. All you have to do now is sew up the sides. Try to stay in line with the other seams as much as you can and go back and forth on the top so it's sturdy and it doesn't rip when you put your headphones in and out of it. At this point, you just have to add the snaps. I got these off of Amazon. To get the middle, I just literally folded it in half and then I see where it is and I marked that with the same pen. And I just put the snaps on this way. Then with the top one, I just fold it down and feel where it is and mark that as well. Kind of see through the tool on this one so you can line it up pretty well on the outside. And then again, my ink goes away with heat, so I just iron that off. All the rest of these steps are optional, but this is how I do, and I think it's super cute. I just add a key ring with a little charm. I think it just adds to it, makes it look super cute. But yeah, that's the whole thing. I hope this tutorial was easy to understand. I'm not very good at this, but I try my best. I have a couple things linked in my Amazon storefront that I use for this. If you want to check it out, it's in my bio.